Welcome to Taste Reviews Drink Edition. I'm your host, Derek Silver, and we back for another one, another tasting. And of course, we got a new one for you today. This one is Baker's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, single barrel, 107 proof. This one was aged a minimum of 7 years. So, when I was looking for a whiskey for this episode, I wanted something higher proof. And y'all know I've done a few episodes of higher proof whiskeys, and they could go either way. But I wanted something higher proof, and I found this one. It's 107 proof, so I'm looking forward to it. Let's start with the bottle. The bottle, we've seen this shape of bottle before. It's a nice little sleek shape of bottle. The cap is interesting. They have a lot of details on the cap. Actually, from the website, they say that the caps are collector's items. They have 4 or 5 different caps for this whiskey, so you can collect them. They have a label around the rim. Now, this is the type of stuff that I like when I get whiskeys. I like the personal details that it has. So it says the date that this whiskey was barreled was March 2016. And the barrel age of it is 7 years and 2 months. I like those type of details. Now, let's go down to the main label. The main label is pretty simple. Let you know that it's Baker's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, single barrel, 107 proof, aged a minimum of 7 years. They got the maker signature on here. It's 53.5% alcohol volume, 107 proof, of course. And they have a little description on here. I'll start right here. I spent a good deal of my life up at the Claremont, Kentucky distillery for a time. I even lived in a house right there on the grounds. This land has been home to Jim Beam spirits for nearly 100 years. Now we make our special small batch bourbons here too, carrying on the legacy of fine homemade bourbon that's been a part of this family for 7 generations. I'm proud to have my name on a piece of that legacy, a single barrel bourbon good enough to drink neat. Baker Beam. So pretty cool legacy. So this whiskey was made in the Jim Beam distillery, and that's why it's single barrel. So it's a special type of whiskey that comes from that distillery, as well as I believe a few others from Jim Beam. There's Knob Creek and some other ones I can't think off the top of my head, but cool little thing, single barrel. So you know that this particular whiskey is special or unique. I'll say unique. Now let's go to the website. It says, named for a truck driving, motorcycle riding, bourbon loving, hard-working whiskey man. Baker's single barrel bourbon is a singular experience, a bold bourbon that was created by one legend to honor another. No 2 barrels are the same. And that's why I love how they have this cool label around the rim to let you know the age of the barrel, when it was barreled, and so you know that this particular whiskey is unique, that no other Baker's Kentucky Straight Bourbon is going to taste the same because they were aged, although they were aged a minimum of 7 years, they all have different ages on them. And you just never know what you're going to get from those barrels when you age them. No 2 barrels are the same. Every drop of bourbon in a Baker's bottle comes from one single barrel. And once those bottles are gone, they're gone, which means you'll discover layers of unique, subtle nuances in every bottle you pick up. That's what makes Baker's so special. That's what I like to hear. Where it's aged makes all the difference. One thing that makes Baker's unique is there's not one particular location where it ages. With 4 campuses, a lot of differences can occur inside each barrel. For example, airflow, location of the rick house, and dump date all play a part. Each barrel is tested. Only those that meet the highest quality standards are bottled. And that's what I love about a lot of these single barrel whiskeys. They're never the same. They're uniquely different. And it all depends on certain things like they laid out in this description right here. Minimum 7 years, 107 proof. Bakers has always believed the ideal bourbon is made according to three fundamental rules. First, it's aged at least 7 years because that's the sweet spot for getting big vanilla notes from the charred oak barrel. Second, a great bourbon carries substantial flavor. And third, when he tries it, he better like it. These rules might seem simple, but they make for one hell of a bourbon. Now to the tasting notes, and we're gonna get to your favorite part. I know I went a little long with the description, but I made an exception because this is single barrel. Family tasting notes. The beauty of single barrel bourbons lies in the intensities, and I was saying intestines. I don't know what I'm so anxious to get to the tasting. I'm just making up words. Intensities and flavors that change each barrel. So one bottle might be smoky, while another might be more floral or peppery. Single barrel. With every barrel of Baker's offers a unique tasting journey, you can expect some defining characteristics. Here are a few. On the nose, fruit, vanilla, and caramel. The palate, medium bodied with flavors of oak, toasted nuts, and vanilla. Finish, robust flavors sit on the tongue for a while, warm and rounded. Now, we remember the last episode with with that whiskey and how they said that finish was a minute and 30 seconds long. So I'm hoping this one is not the same, but we will see. Now let's get to the favorite part of the show, the tasting. Love that sound. And here's the cap with the details on it. I know you can't really see it that well, but you can get an idea. Special cap, collector's item, so I'll keep this one. Off the nose, I'm definitely smelling vanilla. I'm smelling some type of nutty scent. I gotta take a couple of deep breaths so I can get my nose back right. Smell some caramel. I smell fruit. But that vanilla is coming off really strong. Now I got the pour this time. I did not forget the pour. So we're gonna get that going. Start with the nose and glass neat. A little heavy pour. Let's look at the oil content. It's not really not too oily. Kind of thin, has a beautiful color to it. Golden color. All right, let's get to the tasting. Smell it again. Smell the fruit flavors. I smell the vanilla. Smell like a fruity vanilla. Smell the caramel, but mainly I smell fruity vanilla. I'm getting some spice, some pepper. I'm getting a little fruit. I'm definitely getting the vanilla. I'm getting that caramel. Uh, the finish, I will say, is medium. I say the finish is medium long. Um, you taste the pepper. Well, I'm tasting the pepper on the front end, and on the back end is much smoother. Definitely getting that flavor, that peppery flavor on the front end. I'm starting to taste the toasted nuts flavor. Um, it's more in the middle. I'm tasting that more in the middle. On the back end, I'm tasting more of the vanilla. I'm tasting the oak. But on the front end, I'm tasting like a peppery or spicy fruit. In the medium, I'm tasting tasting that vanilla, tasting the nuts, toasted nuts. Um, and on the back end, I'm starting to taste more of the oak flavor. But on the back end, it's smooth. Um, and the finish is medium. What's interesting is the fact that because I normally taste the spice on the back end, but on this time I'm tasting it on the front end, and uh, it hit me like a little, it hit me a little hard on the front end, and I wasn't expecting that because I'm more used to having the peppery flavor on the back end. Let me finish this. Yeah, on the front end, I'm getting that spice with the fruit. In the middle, I'm getting that vanilla, toasted nuts, and on the back end, I'm getting that oak. It definitely, it definitely has a robust flavor. It's definitely like a full bodied bourbon. Definitely full bodied. Like you, you taste it. You taste, you taste this bourbon. So let's move on to the glass with a splash of water. Let's see how this tastes. Now I want to see how this water opens this whiskey up. Let me cleanse my palate first. Splash of water. And let's see what we're working with now. Smelling it. I'm smelling that fruit. I'm smelling that caramel. I'm not smelling the vanilla as much as I did neat. I'm smelling more the caramel now. So let's stir this around a little bit. I'll have to say that this finish is long. This is a long finish. Definitely a long finish. And it lingers a little bit. Expected because it's high proof. It's not as long and lingering as the Bakers. I mean, not the Bakers, the Brothers Bourbon from last episode. And that wasn't even high proof. That was like 80%, 80 proof. So let's go ahead and taste this splash with the water. Now with the splash of water, it's definitely much more smoother on the front end. You still getting that spice. You getting that fruity flavor on the front end, the fruity flavor and the spice on the front end. It now with the splash of water, it's more creamier. It's more smoother. It tastes more creamier now. It's just overall the whole thing is smooth with that splash of water. Even though you still getting that spice on the front end, it's still smooth. Like that splash of water is smooth as hell right now. Like even the finish is not, it's not overwhelming. It's not long. It's not lingering or nothing. This is with the splash of water is smooth. It's creamy and has a like a much more of a rich flavor to it. Yeah, you getting that fruit and that spice on the front end, just a milder compared to it being neat. And in the middle and on the back end is just rich, creamy, and smooth. Vanilla, oak, toasted nuts, all that. So let me get the glass on the rocks ready while I finish this one off. Pour that in there so it can get cold. Remember, this is my end of the show glass, so I fill that up a little bit more. Now let's go back to this. Finish this off. Splash of water. Let me see if I can get anything else from the rest of this. Now I'm starting like now before I even start to drink this, I taste the caramel in my mouth. It's like I feel like the caramel is sitting in my mouth. Definitely tasting more of that caramel now. Burp number one, burp number two. Definitely more of that caramel now. I don't know if that's from the long finish and it is sitting on my tongue as long as it has that I'm getting more of that caramel. But this is definitely like a warm whiskey. Definitely a warm whiskey. This is more of a fall, winter whiskey or a cool um, spring night type whiskey. And it's crazy because I've been getting a lot of those lately. I guess the past couple of episodes, past 2 or 3 episodes. Okay, finish that off. Now let me cleanse my palate. Let's move on to the glass on the rocks. Stir that around a little bit, let it get cold. Right now, I'm smelling that caramel. I'm smelling the vanilla. I'm smelling the fruit. Way more of the caramel. I'm smelling way more of the caramel now on the rocks. Now on the rocks, um, I will say that it's not as spicy, not as peppery, um, but you still get that robust, full body flavored on the front end of it. On the back end, I'm tasting the oak. I'm tasting the vanilla. Burp number three and burp number four. Burp number five. I'm tasting the caramel. Um, it's funny because I'm not really tasting a lot of the vanilla. I'm tasting more of the caramel this time. I'm tasting the oak. I'm tasting like caramel oak caramel, whichever way you want to put it. That's what I'm tasting. On the rocks, I'm definitely tasting a lot of the oak. That oak is strong with the ice. Definitely strong. That oak is strong. That's all I taste is it tastes like tree. Tastes like tree. On the rocks, it tastes like tree. Yeah. On the rocks, I taste tree. So this has been an experience. Um, I set out to get something high proof. Um, the high proofs that I've had recently that I've done on the show were pretty good. Um, this one right here, I think this is probably the second time where I wasn't really feeling the whiskey. I think just thinking back, I think probably like the third or fourth episode. I forgot which whiskey it was. I didn't like that whiskey at all. I think I gave it like a 3, and I think that 3 was generous. Generous. This one right here, um, it's two things. Two things. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised that I don't really like this one. I would say I'm not surprised because it's made by Jim Beam, and Jim Beam is such a big company, even though this is like the specialty single barrel type thing, that, you know, it probably wasn't a lot of, I don't, it's hard to explain, but I feel as though, you know, some of those big companies, big distilleries and stuff like that, it's hard to get good whiskeys when they branch off and do certain other things. So that's why I'm not surprised. But at the same time, I am surprised because it's a single barrel. And I feel like there is a lot of detail that is put into single barrel. Um, it's not like the whiskey is bad. It's not bad, but it's not something that I will probably buy again. I probably wouldn't buy this whiskey again. Um, as I do on the show, Whiskey Three Ways, and I didn't necessarily enjoy none of them. The only one I probably really enjoyed was the one with Splash of Water, and that wasn't really too great. So out of five tastes, I will give this one a 3, and it's not generous. I'll just give it a 3. It's it's okay. Um, like I said, it's all up to your palate, and this one isn't for me. This one isn't for me. I wouldn't buy this one again. But it's a good experience. I got to taste it. I know now, and I'll put this on my list of, yeah, I won't try again. I won't bring it to a party, an event, a barbecue, or nothing like that. If I don't like you, you'll probably get this one. So if I bring this to you as a gift or to an event, yeah, I'm probably don't like you. And I want you to have a bad bourbon whiskey. So Baker's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Yeah, it wasn't terrible. I've had terrible. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good and it wasn't great. So Baker's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, single barrel, 107 proof. Um, Try at your own discretion. And like I said, single barrel is always different. So if it didn't come from this particular barrel on March 2016, then yeah, it probably tastes better. So if I ever buy this one again, I'm gonna definitely look at the date. And this is one of the things that I love about uh, these type of details. So if I ever decide that I want to try this one again, I'm going to look at this label around the rim to see if it comes from the barrel that was aged or dated at March 2016. So, thank you for watching the show. Make sure you liking the video brings more attention and awareness to it. So, it costs you nothing. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe, comment, share. If you want to donate to the show, it's down in the description box. This has been another episode of Taste Reviews Drink Edition. I'll be back next week and hopefully with something that was better than this. Make sure you drink responsibly. Drink responsibly.